So for the last portion of our webinar, we will now proceed with the open forum. We'd like to request the speakers, Mr. Roel, Mr. Brian, Mr. Frank, Mr. Ning, and to join them on the panel is one of the project development officers from DOST-ASTI, currently involved in project management activities and framework and policy research and assessment for space projects, which includes this SAR with AIS project. She has also co-authored publications on Earth observation and local policy. Please welcome Ms. Lianne Maxine Tabanggay. She will be joining our panel. And I would like to request Ms. Lianne to also turn on her camera and her video. Yusik Guevara, if you're still there, you may also turn on your video and your microphones because we might have questions addressed to your office as well. So before we proceed with our Q&A session, may we remind the participants in our Zoom chat, please type in your questions in the chat pane to be addressed by the speakers and the moderators during the panel Q&A session. Also, to those who are watching us via YouTube and Facebook Live, you may send us your questions by typing them in the comment box. So, hello, we're all here. Okay, so let's start. We are waiting for questions from the media, but actually we have members. We actually have people who messaged us privately. Baka ayaw lang nilang nakita sila on YouTube or on Facebook po, ano? This is addressed to Mr. Roel and Mr. Brian. Is the DOST the government's repository of satellite images?
Sige, ako,
sige, Sir Brian.
Sige, ako na lang muna mag-answer. Well, actually, ngayon, for now, kasi yun nga, ang bagitin na Sir Ning sa presentation kanina, DOST-ASTI is before the Philippine Space Agency was established. DOST-ASTI was like the interim how do you say this, interim space agency. So we cater to the different space projects in the Philippines, and then at the same time, ito yung and one of which is yun nga, yung storage, no, yung mga images ng mga satellite images na nakuha natin from Diwata 1, Diwata 2, as well as yung commercial satellites natin, including the WASR-1. Pero moving forward, I think there are plans na since nandiyan na yung, although nothing is really formal yet, pero I think there are plans to transition, yun nga, yung itong mga space asset na to, to be transferred to the Philippine Space Agency. Well, pero ano lang yan, it's a may possibility na ganun yung mangyayari na ano. Pero for now, since yun nga, kaka-establish pa lang ng Philippine Space Agency, so and then they're yun yan, nag-start pa lang sila. So currently, ang mga images na to is nakastore sa DOST-ASTI. So, yan. Maybe Roel can add or if you want to add.
Yung repository ng satellite imagery is still NAMRIA. So we are sending them the images na nandito as received by the ground station. So, ayun. Yun lang po yung madadagdag ko.
Is there going to be any conflict with the mandates of the Philippine Space Agency with the continuing operations of the SAR with AIS project?
Joe, can you repeat the question, please? Sorry, I think I missed the first part.
Yes. Hindi ba siya conflict sa mandato ng Philippine Space Agency itong mga ongoing operations ng SAR with AIS?
I see. Well, the Space Agency is a new agency, essentially. It just came to being, I think, last year. No, early this year, no? So they are a fairly new agency, and of course, ASTI has been conducting these activities for quite some time now. And as mentioned by Brian, in time there will be proper transition of activities. So in essence, there will be no conflict in mandates. And I see ASTI and other agencies and other academic institutions as complementing actually the PhilSA in space activities. So hindi naman yata ang plan is for everything to be centered around PhilSA. There will be some complementing activities, some complementing projects, even complementing facilities siguro that are already existing in other agencies or institutions that will collaborate with PhilSA to achieve its function as the space agency for the Philippines.
Thank you very much, Sir Ning. We have a question. Is it possible for NOVASAR-1 to get the images of a particular province at a specific time? And there's a follow-up. Will the image be given for free? I think any of the proponents of the project can answer.
I'll answer.
Sige, Sir Ning, please.
Then maybe back me up, Frank, after I speak. Yes. Well, the NOVASAR actually passes over the Philippines at a particular time. So it's around 10 to 11 a.m. And another pass at night, also at the same time, 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. So it's more or less a routine. Yun yung routine pass niya over the Philippines. And of course, we have to look at the actual orbit kung dadaan talaga siya dun sa area of interest natin. Kung say there's a particular province, say for example, Iloilo, although NOVASAR passes every day during from 10 to 11 a.m. and 10 to 11 p.m., we'll have to check kung saan sa Pilipinas talaga siya dadaan, kung ano yung visibility niya, ano yung areas na makukunan niya. Yung next question, will we be giving it for free? Yes, we will be giving it for free. This has already been paid for through the project. And we can give access, of course, to government agencies. If this is a request made by the LGU, then we can provide it to them as part of a government-to-government transaction. Frank, maybe you can add a few more things.
So, using the CIASAT portal on the data visualization module, you can search for a particular place. For example, a province like Bulacan. You can click the by text button here, and then you search for the capture start time and the capture end time. You can also filter your request by image capture modes, path direction, and antenna direction. If you click go, the results will be shown here on this panel. You can also view the results if you click the plus button. So yes po, we can search for by province or by city just by using this by text feature.
Okay, thank you very much, Frank. Actually, there's a follow-up to that question as well. You've said, Sir Ning has said that we could give these images for free as these have already been paid for by taxpayer money. So just in case, how can the media access these images? Like, for example, they need to corroborate the story or use these images for a TV broadcast. Ano po yung mga protocols na kailangan nilang sundan?
First, they need to write a formal letter of request to DOST-ASTI. So they can email us at info@asti.dost.gov.ph. And then, yun, pwede silang mag-request ng kung ano mang image na gusto nila. But of course, a provision of resources are due to some security access as well.
Okay, thank you. So to Sir Well and Sir Brian, does this have any application for the country's pressing concerns, such as COVID-19 and the economy? Sounds quite difficult to answer.
Siguro I'll give my opinion regarding this question, COVID-19 and the economy. Regarding sa COVID-19, if you, in the past webinars that we conducted, we showed yung application ng monitoring capability natin sa maritime aspect. For example, gaano kadami yung ships na naka-dock, gaano kasama yung ships na bumibiyahe na nakikita ng mga satellites natin every pass. We can do the same using NOVASAR. So pwede nating i-monitor yung mga ports natin para makita kung every time na may pass si NOVASAR, for example, kumuha sa mga ports, makita natin through time kung nag-increase ba or nagde-decrease. So it's an indicator kung i-increase or nag-decrease ba yung economic activities sa isang lugar. Well, we can always relate it sa effects ng quarantine measures natin during the COVID-19. So that's what I'm thinking. May possibility din naman na pwede nating ibenta yung satellite imagery, for example, because it's our own, it's our sovereign property. So our government or the agency or can make something out of it para magkaroon ng value. Yung mga outputs din natin, yung mga process images as yung mga outputs, extracted information from those images can also be sold for commercial uses. For example, tulad ng mga pinakita na applications kanina. So there are opportunities na ganyan.
Sir Brian.
Yeah. Well, yun nga, agree with Roel dun sa sinabi niya. And then, to add lang din dun, pertaining to sa maritime activity, yun nga, yung marine traffic. Kung essentially, pwede kang mag-create ng analysis on the effects nga nung COVID. Kunyari, yung mga ships ba, kumonti na lang yung nagbibiyahe or dumami ba, ano bang mga kasing ships ang natenga dahil dito. So, in a way, you could create analysis parang indirectly, which is related din kung ano ba yung nangyari dahil sa pandemic ito. So, yeah.
Okay, you've mentioned something about the data being sold. Tama po ba, Sir Ruel?
Yeah. It can be done.
So this is actually related to this next question. Do you have plans for commercialization?
Regarding
private agencies, how can they access these images? Would it be the same mechanism as what Frank mentioned a while ago, just to send a letter, or are there roadmaps in place for the commercialization of these images?
Regarding dun sa access ng images ng mga agencies, government agencies and academic institutions, free naman siya. Same protocol ng diniscuss ni Frank kanina. Regarding naman dun sa commercial aspect nito, I think I would like to direct the question to Sir Ning. I don't know how to answer that yet.
Well, certainly, thank you, Ruel, for directing that question to me. Yes, of course, there are always plans to generate more value from the activities that we're doing. And when we say we're commercializing this is more applicable to value-added products. We're not really selling the data itself kasi that's covered by some kind of license. But if we develop products out of this data that we get, and it can be used by some company, some organization, and then they can generate value from the products that we develop, then certainly I think it's only fair that we get some kind of remuneration from the efforts that we conducted. So likewise, hindi lang naman kasi data yung binigay natin eh. We added effort and resources into developing said value-added product. So it's only fair that we also get some kind of payback from the effort that we put into the development of the product that we're commercializing. So yes, pwede naman yung ganung klase ng arrangement.
Sir, there is a question from the media, from ABS-CBN. How will this technology help the military in their monitoring of the West Philippine Sea? Is there an agreement or an MOA already between AFP and DOST-ASTI or any of the agencies that are involved in this?
Yes, well, to be honest, we are in fact working with the security sector in relation to this project. As you know, ang malaking bentahe ng project nito is combining SAR imaging technology with AIS. And with the maritime mode, it's really applicable to maritime domain awareness. And as I mentioned earlier, the Philippines is essentially surrounded by bodies of water. And it's very important that we are aware of what's happening in these areas. So aside from civilian applications, of course, we've been working with, say, the BIFAR and the National Coast Watch System, which is an umbrella organization of agencies involved with maritime activities. We also have communication with the security sector. Pero siguro, to maintain our being a civilian agency, of course, ASTI is a civilian agency. we are extending yung training namin dun sa security sector so that they can manage and process yung sarili nilang data from Novasar, and they can do so with this training. Magkakaroon sila ng capability essentially to do it by themselves. That's why napaka-importante din yung training component ng project na to. So ang mangyayari niyan, eventually, when we are receiving data directly from the satellite, security-related data will be funneled directly to the security sector, and they will be the ones to process yung information that we got from the satellite.
So gaano po kabilis to, Sir Ning, nila makukuha yung image if they request, say the AFP or the Department of Agriculture, when they request for a message, for an image, how fast do they get the data?
As of now, I think as seen in Frank's presentation, I think it's 3 days. No, but I think the parameter for that is yung data still lands in UK. So doon ng ground receiving station kasi as of now ng Novasar, and the data is being downloaded there. And from the UK, it's then sent to us. Pero kapag meron na tayong sariling ground station and we can directly, I mean, we already have our own ground station, we just have to upgrade it so that we can receive directly from the satellite. So whenever it passes over the Philippines, we can already download the data. So it's just a matter of hours. Siguro, we download the data, we process it, kasi raw pa yun, and then we extract the information that is required. Then we can forward it directly dun sa agency in need of the information. In the case na yung partner agency is already capable of processing the data, then they can directly get access to the raw data and then process it themselves para ma-generate na yung information that they need. So that will take a couple of hours at most, as compared to the current system na 3 days natin inaantay yung data before it comes here.
Okay, sir, you've mentioned upgrades po, no, that are necessary for us to be able to download these images ourselves. So how far are we along with this project? I think maybe you or even you, Sekyev, can also answer this. How far are we along? What are the plans once this project is accomplished?
Well, as of now, we are actually at the start of year 3 of the project. So we started getting Novasar data just this August 2019, actually, or well, for all intents and purposes, it's actually September. Kasi late August na nag-start yung start ng service ng Novasar. So we've been enjoying data, or we've been getting data from the satellite for roughly a year now. And actually, as of December, we've already covered the entire county. So in just a few months, we were already able to get images that essentially cover the Philippine territory. Since we're in year 3, we're actually focusing on applications development, and we're trying to fast track yung upgrades natin sa ground receiving station natin sa Davao, which was unfortunately sidetracked by the current pandemic. It was supposed to happen sometime in April together with the training, sana. So UK specialists were supposed to come over, but because of the pandemic and the travel restrictions, na-delay ngayon yung upgrade natin. But we are working with them to have the equipment to be sent over, and we're planning to do remote installation kasi unfortunately, I think they still have travel restrictions on their side. Para lang mapabilis, we'll do the installation ourselves, and we will be guided by the people from SSTL remotely. I think we can do this. Napag-usapan na naman namin in various meetings already. And the training, yeah, as of now, it's also fairly important. Pero again, we can do this virtually, and we're planning how to conduct it in the succeeding months. Hopefully, we can do this everything within the year.
Yusek Guevara, maybe the Office of the Undersecretary of R&D has something to share about the plans moving forward.
Moving forward, we imagine that the transition of the operation and the maintenance as well as dissemination of many of our space-related programs, which are currently with the DOST-Advanced Science Technology Institute, will eventually be transferred to the Philippine Space Agency. But as of now, and you have to remember, the DOST is the vice chair of the Philippine Space Council. And therefore, up until the end, DOST will be connected with the Philippine Space Agency. And to that end, we expect that there will be continuing collaborations for the science and technology, R&D, the human resource development. But for now, Novasar is being managed by the ASTI. And I hope that our friends from media would be able to convey the information to our fellow Filipinos. Because after all, the investment in Novasar was made by the Filipino people. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Yusek Guevara. We have two more questions related to the safety and security of these data. The first one is actually it's a comment from the Facebook page. Ang sabi dito, AIS is prone to spoofing. Do you have anything to say about that? I think Sir Brian
Yeah,
answered this question. And then the next one I think is related as well. Are these data safe? The satellite and the AIS data, are they safe? Or na-access din ba to ng mga taga-ibang bansa?
Okay, so yeah, let me answer first yung first question yung AIS spoofing. Oh, well, nangyayari naman siya, hindi siya talaga based nga dun sa isang slide ni Sir Ning, hindi lang spoofing, no? Ang iba ding ships, ino-off nila yung AIS data nila. So, merong ganun na kaya it's ano din sa atin, advantageous for a satellite na meron siyang AIS receiver as well as yung image capture dun sa area na yon para we could perform the actual validation. We could check na yung talaga bang yung AIS na yon is merong corresponding ship na nandun siya, tama yung coordinates na binabato niya. Kasi yun nga, merong iba, merong AIS data pero walang ship. Meron ding iba na nakikita na may ship pero walang AIS data. So all of this information can be validated by combining the two technologies, yung SAR image as well as yung AIS data. And then for the yung second question, well, for now, ang talagang nakaka-access lang ng Novasar data kasi dumadaan pa yan sa UK, so sila muna, and then binabato lang sa atin. So nag-retain din sila ng siguro ng copy doon. Pero once meron tayong ground receiving station na dito, we could actually receive directly the images na hindi nadadaan sa ibang bansa. Pero regardless naman, kahit na dumaan yan dun sa tawag nito, sa SSTL muna na ground station for now, meron naman tayong agreement with SSTL na talagang this data, kung na-captured to ng na-request ng Philippines using their own imaging slot dun sa satellite, would be used solely and then never be accessed by any other country except for the Philippines itself. So,
yeah. Well, if I may add, of course, we are contractually protected kahit na dumaan yan. Kasi if you look at it, marami namang bansa na wala talagang satellites and they actually rely on other commercial satellites for imaging over their country. And of course, they are protected by privacy and terms of the contract. So hindi yun basta-basta sinishare. Kasi otherwise, well, it's essentially suicide kung i-divulge mo yung data ng ibang bansa. Diba? And these suppliers or commercial entities will not do that, will not risk their business for activities like that.
Thank you very much, Sir Ning and Sir Brian. We have one last question, and this is from Facebook, from Elfris Zenos. I'm not sure if I pronounced that right, or if that's an actual real name. Hello po, good day. Is there any chance na magkaroon tayo ng sariling launch system, or will we just focus on developing satellites?
Sige, ako, maybe I can answer first, and maybe Sir Ning or Roel can also chime in.
Okay, this is the last question, by the way.
So kung actually nung previous presentations no ng Philippine Space Agency, sila DG Joel Marciano, and then yung team nila, sila Rosel, they're explaining kung ano yung activities natin moving forward in terms of space activities. And then for now, for the next few years, we would be meron silang tinatawag na build no na satellite. So the 3BS. So it's through the Philippine Space Agency, meron silang program ang agency to actually focus first no on building satellites. We'll start small and then eventually go up until to even bigger and more ambitious satellites. With regards to the question for kung merong launch system, well, dati merong ganong proposal, pero I think in the near future hindi siya ang priority. Pero we will never close our doors naman eh. I mean, given na din na yung Philippines, very strategic siya na location in terms of developing launch facility. So yeah, maybe who knows, in the future, nandyan siya. Pero for now, it's more of the concentration and then building people as well as building satellites. Oh yeah, and then yun nga, ngayon din, it's more of nag-focus din tayo yung upgrading ng ating ground receiving stations. For now, meron tayong 3 sa ASTI, sa Davao, and then yung latest is yung sa tawag nito sa Iloilo. So all of these are contributing no dun sa space efforts ng country.
Okay, I think that addresses the question on the media chat box kung kailan tayo magkakaroon ng sariling operational na ground receiving station. We already have 2 operational, one along the way, and I think yun nga po yung sagot po ni Sir Brian po So I think that's all that we have. That's all the time that we have for today. Thank you so much for all the questions from our participants. For any additional questions you want to ask about the SAR or the AIS project, you could message us through the DOST-ASTI Facebook page or through our communications unit, and anyone from the team will try to answer them. So I think there have been questions also on our live chat kung pwede po bang hingin yung presentations ng mga speakers. The presentations used in this event will be available shortly in the live stream. You may download the media kit using the QR code that is shown. Saan po ba yung QR code natin? In the bottom right side of your screen. And then flash po siya sa screen natin ngayon kung anong email addresses and kung anong social media sites na pwede natin i-visit for any more questions regarding SAR with AIS. These information will also be available on the DOST-ASTI website. So click on that QR code, scan that, and that will lead you to the media kit for the SAR with AIS project. And that ends the SAR with AIS project launch. So on behalf of the SAR with AIS team, the communications group of DOST-ASTI, and the entire Department of Science and Technology community, DOST Office of the USEC R&D, thank you very much for being with us here this afternoon. This event is just the start of our journey for NovaSAR 1. So we will catch you again with more of these projects and with the growth of the SAR with AIS project. This has been Jo Briones, your moderator for today's event. Stay safe and healthy and have a great week ahead. Thank you very much.